Hey there everyone, welcome to Crappy Reviews, the home of no rules reviews. And what's no rules reviews mean? Well, it means whatever the hell I want it to mean. I don't adhere to any set professional standard, and that should be pretty obvious. I mean, I call the damn place Crappy Reviews. You would only do that if you didn't take yourself seriously. So don't be that guy. You know what I'm talking about, that guy that watches optional content and then bitches about it. Don't bring that here. May the 4th, it's a nerd day. Star Wars Day, as it were. I always do something special for May the 4th. It might not be that special, but I'm going to review a game. The game that I'm going to review for you is Star Wars Racer's Revenge. This was a PlayStation 2 game back in the day, but thankfully somebody gave me a code that unlocked 4 PlayStation 2 games on my PS4, and this is one of them, so I thought I'd do a review for it. And I'm a big Star Wars nerd. I'm not really ashamed to admit that. I love the franchise. I probably have some controversial takes on which ones are my favorite movies and things like that, but maybe I'll get around to doing those one day. But this game was released on the PlayStation 2 originally, and but the funny thing is, the original one, Star Wars Pod Racers, was the one that I bought my N64 for, and then I bought the better version on the Dreamcast later on, and it was really, really good. The problem was, it seemed like that things are going so fast that I have trouble with it, but I digress. On to this review, and first thing we're going to cover is graphics. Now, graphically, I'm playing the PlayStation 4 up-res version, so things do look a little bit crisper and clearer and things like that. The main problem that I have with it is the fact that the textures are kind of bad, and it does move kind of fast. I'm pretty sure that this version is 60 frames per second, and what happens is the game moves so fast that you sometimes run into the walls and things like that. But overall, the game runs really well on the PS4. I also have it on the PS2. I just don't have a way to capture that version, so I captured the PS4 version for you guys, but I think it runs really well. As far as looks, it's an old game. It's a PS2 game. There's no real textures or anything the way that there are now, so you can see kind of how far we've come in that amount of time. But I think the game does look fairly good for the time, and more importantly, it runs well. There's not a bunch of hiccups or bumps or anything like that. Now, as far as the gameplay goes, it's pretty damn obvious. Basically, you're just going around in a first-person mode in a pod racer. That was one of the best parts about Star Wars Episode 1 was the pod racing. One of the best Star Wars games was the original pod racing game, and this is basically pretty much like that. You press a button, you go. You can ram enemies off the stage, you can knock them out. What's interesting about this game is, unlike the last one, in the last game, if you got knocked out, you would spawn back in. In this one, you don't do that. Basically, you can KO people or get KO'd, so it makes you have to take it a little bit safer, kind of one step at a time, just kind of have fun with it. But you have to, you press in on a button, I believe the left trigger, and then you can heal if you're, there's an alarm that starts going off if you've taken too much damage, and you can heal. You can also boost, but the problem with that is you can overheat, so you really have to kind of time it between the two. You have to boost for a little bit and then lay off of it, let it cool down. And if you take too much damage, you have to press the button to kind of heal your racer, or else you'll blow up, and then you're done. You lose. I mean, that's the only thing that happens. I mean, that kind of sucks. But overall, there's different game modes. There's a single-player game mode where you can play a race in a single event. You can practice or do the time trials. And you can choose all the way up to 25 laps, which is pretty cool. You can do a versus race, which is against other players and on any of your unlocked tracks. You can do the tournament mode, which is a mode that lets you race across 13 tracks. And you basically are trying to get first place, obviously, but you usually will progress if you get top 3. And each race has a prize for getting first, as well as Watto's shop. You can get upgrades and things like that by spending your earnings and whatnot. And I think that adds a little bit of fun to it. Overall, I think that it's not probably the best racing game. It's definitely not better than the first one, but it can have an added value because you can go back and re-race some of the tracks and try to earn extra money and things like that. As far as the story, it really just is kind of vague. It takes place around 8 years after the Phantom Menace, and Sebulba wants revenge against Anakin Skywalker. So, but like I said, you got to take it kind of easy with this game, because if you crash your pod, you are done, completely done. And at the end of the day, this might not be the best Star Wars game, but it's certainly not the worst, and it's one of the ones that are a little bit lesser known, so I thought it'd be fun to kind of go over and do a review of it. Happy May the 4th, May the 4th be with you and all that stuff. I know I'm a huge fucking nerd, get over it. This game's okay. I think that, again, the first one is much better if you can get that on N64 or the Dreamcast. Dreamcast version, much superior. But overall, this one's not bad, considering it was only available on the PlayStation 2. It does offer some single-player and multiplayer fun. Yeah, that's pretty much all you can say about that. 7.5 out of 10. Pretty average, but maybe worth a check out on this amazing May the 4th. And take it easy, everyone. Rack 'em up. Crapgamer out.